So as boring a subject, visibility is for modifying a car. It's kind of crucial obviously to keep the car safe during winter time, especially because the roads are a lot darker earlier on in the evenings. So I've got a few modifications here today to help me see better at night, including some new Osram Nightbreaker bulbs, which were quite expensive. I've got Xenon lights on my car, and they do recommend you change them every 5 years roughly, because the gas slowly wears off over time, making the light less bright. These ones are now 13 years old on my car, so it's probably a good time to change them over. I have noticed when driving at night that it does seem a bit dimmer than it used to be a few years ago. We also have some new wiper blades to go on. You can get Bosch as well. I just go for Valio because they're quite a well-known brand and quite reliable as well. It doesn't have to be Valio if you're going for some yourself. And we've got this Gleco stuff to put on the windscreen. It's kind of like Rain-X. It just kind of repels water and helps you kind of keep your windscreen clear when it's in heavy rain. So I have used this before and it lasted for ages. About, I think 9 months ago I applied it. I'm just going to top that up at the same time to go with the new wipers. Got some new 4D plates finally to go on the car. My last plates are kind of a bit knackered. I left the front number plate on the windscreen when I was getting my car resprayed, and it kind of got warped in the sun during the summertime, so it's never been right since, so I decided to splash out and get some new plates. These are actually from URMplates on Instagram, so if you give them a shout and use NCW, you can get 15% off your order. So we're going to make a start on the Xenon lights first, and bring it in the garage here. You can see the lights warming up as they get switched on. This is a standard trait with Xenon lights. It's the gas inside reacting with electrical charge. Opening up the bonnet, we can see we've got most of the space in behind the driver's side headlight, which is easily accessed, but the passenger side, you've got to take off the airbox or induction kit. So once that's out of the way, we're looking to take off the 4 small torque screws that are on the cap for the back of the headlight, remove the cap, and then push up this plastic tab that holds in the bulb. Pull it out of the cage and disconnect the wee electrical connector on the bottom. This is the part number for the original one if you're looking, it's a Phillips bulb. Putting in a new Osram bulb into the back of the headlight is just a reverse, so pop it into the wee cage, pop on the wee connector onto the bottom, and then push down the plastic switch to secure it. Refit the cap and then screw in the 4 torque screws. And here's a before and after shot of the bulb on the passenger side. My headlights probably would look a lot better, but they've got this common issue with Mark II Leon headlights where the UV damage has damaged the lens itself and it gives off this speckled, misty effect at the back of it. So this one side changed over. It is actually really hard to see if it's any brighter than the old one. I think unless you've got like a proper thing as a lumens reader that measures brightness, you're not going to really see it by eye unless you have got really bad old bulbs. So I'm going to change the other side just now. We'll do a wee test later on in the dark. I've done a before and after in the dark with a GoPro, which might not come out very well, I don't know, but we'll see if there's any brightness. Overall, there's no harm in changing them anyway. They are well past their use by date, so it's worth changing anyway for another 5 years of decent light out of them.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
So that's the Xenon bulbs done now. I was going to say, if you do find that when you're checking them that one gets, as you're dipping down to look at them, if one gets brighter before the other, probably because the alignment's out a bit. So there is wee kind of plastic cogs on these headlights on the top that you can twist. So clockwise winds the headlight down a little bit and then anti-clockwise winds it back up. You don't obviously to blind oncoming traffic. So if you do really, you want to start dipping them down to get them in line. So that when you go down towards looking at the car at a certain level, that both headlights kind of get bright at the same time, and this just means they're aligned. Because obviously if you've probably seen it yourself, if you drive towards traffic at night time and one headlight is really bright compared to the other, it's usually because it's slightly misaligned compared to the other one. And I am going to keep my old bulbs just in case. There's no point throwing away. They do actually still work perfectly well. They're just obviously not as bright as they were 13 years ago. So if I do have any reason that I've damaged one in here, or God forbid I break a headlight completely, so I'm not spending more money on a headlight bulb as well as the headlight itself. Anyway, so next up now is our wipers and our windscreen. Now, if you're subscribed to the monthly newsletter that I send out each month that's filled with car content, you'll have access also to these free job cards that I'm now making for each video. So every video will be detailed down on these job cards regarding the tools you require, the step-by-step process to go through, and also the torque values you require for any bolts or nuts. These job cards will be available for all upcoming videos, and I'm also planning on backdating all the previous videos on the channel as well. So if that might be of use to you, then just click the link down below in the description or the pinned comment in the comment section, and that will take you to a link to sign up to the newsletter and get access to these job cards. So I quickly dried the rest of the rain off the windscreen before applying the first part of this product, which is the glass polish. So you just put this in a circular motion across the whole of the windscreen, make sure it's all covered, and once it is, you just buff it off then with a dry cloth. Just to make sure the windscreen is properly clean, I just use some glass cleaner to take off the last of the residue. Now onto applying the actual Glaco rain repellent product itself. So you just do circular motions across the whole of the windscreen, make sure you cover every little bit right to the edge, and this begins to evaporate as you're applying it. So I thought I'd leave that a while to dry on the windscreen and tackle the front number plate while I'm waiting. So removing a couple of screws off my old number plate, peeled it off because it was stuck on with sticky pads as well, and here's a close-up of the sun damage from a few months ago when it was left on the dashboard. Now taking off the remainder of the sticky marks on the bumper, I use a heat gun and a plastic trim removal tool, then a bit of rubbing alcohol to take off the residue, and then I applied new sticky strips. Now preferably you probably put them up and down the way, not across the way like this, because I'm just thinking if rainwater gets in behind the plate, it's not going to have a clear passage from top to bottom. The red sticky marks just mark the centre of the bumper and the centre of the plate so I get it all nicely aligned, and then I just push it firmly in the middle into place, make sure it's all lined up and level, and then once it is, just push it from left to right across the plate. Finally removing the wee white plastic stickers over the front of the plate. So with front plates done, I then go back to the windscreen to take off the Glaco product. This proved a little bit difficult actually, but I'll explain in a wee second why that was. Then to remove the wiper blades off the arms, so I always put down a towel first just in case I knock the wiper arm with no blade on it and it hits the glass and causes a crack. So off of the old wiper blades, pretty straightforward, just pulling the wee tabs at the side and slide it up the way. Then pop the new one on. I didn't actually realise this, but the wiper blades that come in these packets are sided to match the wiper arms. So there's a wee triangle bit of plastic moulding on each wiper blade, and this just corresponds to which arm it goes to on the car. So if you are having problems, it could be this is the reason why. So this windscreen all done now. It's got a brand new coating. It's got two new wiper blades either side. It's also been cleaned inside as well. Now I'm not going to teach you to suck eggs here, but clean the inside of your window. Make sure that you've got a good quality glass cleaner. You've also got two cloths as well. One cloth to apply the glass cleaner, then let it kind of flash off so it kind of evaporates a bit, and then buff it really nice and clean with the completely dry cloth, because if you use the same cloth for applying it and taking it off, it just seems to kind of wipe the dirt around on the screen. Two cloths is the way to go. And this Glaco product here, you might notice there's no English instructions on it. When you get it in the twin pack, it comes in a cardboard kind of case, and the cardboard case has the instructions. I haven't got it anymore. I binned it, and when I applied it 9 months ago, it just seemed to work first time, no bother for me. This time I applied it, and it's probably my own fault that I let it kind of cure too long in the windscreen because I was doing the front number plate. Went back to the windscreen trying to take it off, and it just would not shift. It was leaving like swirl marks all over it. Luckily I've got a machine polisher with a wee wool pad on the end of it, and that took it off no bother. But if you're doing that by hand, that would take you ages. So be warned, yeah, don't let it cure for too long. Maybe better to do 2 coats quite quickly in between rather than doing what I did there and leaving it for about 20 minutes while it completely hardened and was a pain to come off. Now time for the rear plates to be changed over. So again, removing the 2 screws, but one obviously, as you'd expect, was rusted and just rounding off. So I had to use a pair of pliers to gradually pull it off and get it away from the plate. Once that's out of the way, just gently prise off the number plate. Again, this is stuck on with pads as well. And as usual, there's just a mess in the back of here, so I give it a quick rinse and wash down just to get most of the dirt off it before tackling the sticky strips that were left on. So after doing 2 plates now, using the heat gun to take off the old strips, I'd probably advise against using this heat gun method. I end up damaging the black trim that was on the bumper here. You can see a bit of paint came off. This will be hidden by the new plates. It's not a massive issue, but yeah, when I used my finger just to prise off the old sticky strips, it worked a lot better. I quickly cleaned up the rear bumper with some polishing compound to make sure the surface was nice and smooth for the sticky pads to stick to. And then with the pads now stuck to the back of the plate this time with centre marks marked with a bit of tape, I heated up the pads also with the heat gun just to make sure they stuck better because it was quite cold today. Then once it was centralised on the bumper, I took a few steps back to see how the positioning was, if it to raise or lower one side or the other. And once I was happy with this, I wasn't happy with that by the way, it was a bit squint but I fixed it. I then pressed the number plate firmly across the back of the bumper from left to right. And again removed the wee white protective strips on the plate.
The world revolves around you. Greedy and a bit needy. That's what I like about you. Your perky pop.
Now if you just splashed out on some new number plates, then what better way to show them off with an LED number plate light on the back as well. I already have some fitted to my car, but for the past wee while they've been triggering a fault light on the dash, as LEDs do. These ones have built-in resistors, but the resistor must have gone, and this is why the light on the dash is there. So taking that's quite easy, just pull off one from one side of the lights and the unit comes out in one piece. Then unplug them from the car, plug the new ones in, along with the new resistors that come with them, and straightforward enough, just push them back up inside the bumper and make sure they click in firmly. So a quick test to see how the new lights look. Excellent, nice and bright. And then just check the dashboard to make sure the fault has gone off the dashboard, which it has, but now I've got a service light instead to attend to. The old resistors, I'm just going to bin these, but I'll keep the old LED units for the lights themselves, just in case. Now let's go and check out the Xenon bulbs out on the road to see how they perform against the old ones. So I've kept the camera settings for the GoPro exactly the same, so there's no difference, it's not compensating for lack of light. And you can definitely see the bottom picture of the new bulbs is a lot brighter in certain areas. The new bulbs, the beam definitely does go further down the road ahead of you, and also you can just see as we zoom in here that the brightness of the bottom picture compared to the top picture, it is a lot better. So the new bulbs overall have made a massive improvement. So I've just been watching Matt Armstrong there in the background, Matt Armstrong gifting a Ferrari to his dad. Obviously thanks for all the help he does on the channel over the years with him. I wonder if my dad would be as appreciative if I gifted him that white Ibiza in the background there after it's all fixed up and on the road. I don't think so somehow. Anyway, that's the car all finished off with its visibility upgrades, basically the windscreen all treated, new wipers, inside the glass all treated as well, not that that's a massive upgrade. And I'm really pleased with the plates on the car from URMplates. They've got a website and Instagram page as well, so check them out, and don't forget that NCW discount code to put in the box to give you 15% off your order as well. As always, if you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button and make sure you hit subscribe down below to catch more videos from the channel in future, including this one I'll leave up here in the corner for you, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.
I've been searching